I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls.
The Ghouls next door.
About spooky stuff. Welcome.
As we do, man. Hello.
Yeah. Welcome to the Awareness-a-thon. We're closing it out. It's been pretty fun. It's been different. Lots of different creators getting together and making content.
Yes,
back to back.
Precious content.
Precious, yes.
Give the people what they want, which is content.
Mm-hmm.
At all moments of the day.
Talking about things. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're the Ghouls Next Door. You probably maybe know about us. Probably, maybe. We talk spooky things. We are the media analysis podcast from a horror lens, where we explore the real life, historical, and psychological reasonings behind our cinematic fears. We are out here to educate and entertain. We call it edutainment.
Edutainment. I had a real proud girlfriend moment yesterday because Isaiah used the word edutainment, like for what he wants to do with his podcast. And I was like,
yes, you do.
It's like we rub off on you.
Education can be fun. And I think more people should know that. We do often talk about horror specifically, which is why we are covered in blood a bit.
Mm-hmm. Just a little blood for treat.
Yeah, a little blood for treat. And yeah, we've had a very heavy last few episodes. And so we're like, let's have fun instead. We wanted to watch something that was fun and chill and that we wouldn't have to educate you on, because it was just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, my thesis for that series was people are trash. Did you know?
Mm-hmm. That's like the thesis for our show.
I think that is definitely the thesis for our show. People are made of garbage. As much garbage as they are made of, they spread around.
Yeah.
And we just have to sit in it.
We just have to sit in it.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, we're going to talk about Freaky, which is fun. We got someone who says they're hanging out for a few minutes before I head to work. Thank you for spending your last few minutes free with us.
Yeah. With us?
With us? Oh, we're so honored.
Aww.
That's so nice.
All word I can't say because I think we're not cursing.
Oh, what were B word? But in like an affectionate way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yes.
I am covered in blood and murdering things, according to the theme of this episode.
Yes, because we're the girl who Freaky Fridays. Yeah, I've been watching a bit of horror outside of the Ghouls for fun. Occasionally. You didn't watch any of the Fear Street.
Yeah.
And I did.
I think it's because I don't watch horror by myself. So like you need to be around me, or like and Isaiah just doesn't like horror. So if I had another human in the house that liked horror, or like you were still here, you're in my heart, but
but I'm not there.
Yeah, you need to learn how to go ghost like Danny Phantom,
and just end up in your house.
Fly here, yeah, it's perfect. And then we just watch horror movies together. But I don't watch it without you because it's friendship.
Aww,
that's what horror is.
I'm sorry, I watched it alone.
It's okay, but tell us what you've been watching, Gabe.
I watched Fear Street. I watch all of them as they came out. The first one was like fine, but it's weird because it felt like it expected me to already know things, and then I didn't. But I was like, I don't know. And yeah, it also, like, in the first one, I feel like there's a mistake because it's a slasher, which, like, this film is also a slasher, and it does a good job of being a slasher because murders happen. In the first Fear Street, it's supposed to be a slasher because it's an ode to, like, the 90s, like, Scream. Like, there's, like, akin to Ghostface person. And but it like kind of forgot it was a slasher because it was trying to give you all this exposition, and then at the end, the last like 15 minutes, it's like, oh right, slasher, we have kill count has to go up, and so they just killed these people, and I feel like it was completely unwarranted. It was super gruesome, but like the kids don't react because it's like, we got to go to the next thing, we got to set up the rest of this series, and so you have to like get over your friends dying like
real quick,
the most horrific way. And I'm just like, what and then the second one was pretty good. I think that's my favorite, and the third one was great. Gentleman Ghostface, yes, it is the doll from last night, because I am Gabe and I was on the Black Women Are Scary edition. So yeah. Twice. You could see my face twice.
Gabe loves to deliver content.
I love
just whisper
out there.
Yeah, whisper sweet nothings of content.
Look at me. Oh, look at me. Always. That's something I watched recently that was horror. I have been reading a lot of horror. I read some Junji Ito and
cried.
It's so upsetting. It is really upsetting, and it's so hard to get through. And I'll get like really mad. Like there's one story that like I'm just scarred forever. And it's like, if you ever looked at it, I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially where this guy has a bunch of pimples and he like swishes his face so they all it's like the worst thing in the world. And I was and the whole story itself is awful. Like all the other ones were like uncomfortable. That one was the worst. And so it's like you're going through this and he's really great with the page turns and it reveals like awful things happening. And so I'm like I was like, I hate Junji, I hate you so much. Like,
but I love you, but I hate you.
And then at the end of all the short stories or all his stories, he would have this little like blurb about like how he came up with it or like what he was thinking. And it's always like he's just like this sweet dude who's just like, yeah, so I saw this thing and I was like, that'd be kind of creepy. Maybe I can make it like this and blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm really sorry if it upset you all. Like I just thought it would be cool. And I'm like, God damn it. I can't stay mad at you. I can't do it. So yeah, I had another one. So
yeah, I didn't read that, but I still vividly remember R.L. Stine. Like at least I think it was R.L. Stine. The one with the spider pimple.
No, that was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Might be, yeah. There was, but like, because I read it like at the book fair, like when I was a kid, and I remember like it messed me up so bad because I was like, now I'm going to be convinced that every bug bite and pimple I ever get for the rest of my life could contain spiders. And that's just not something I want to think.
Adolescents who actively have acne to have to deal with that.
I was luckily like pretty blessed with like not a lot of pimples, but like there's always at least like once a month I would have like one single one and I'd be like, this is it. I'm gonna wake up in the night covered in tiny spiders and I'll never sleep again. And that's fine. It's just what life is now. And then I would wake up and it'd be fine and it'd be gone. And I'd be like, okay, well, this was a test. I'm gonna be a good person.
Because
I was rationalizing. I was like, just please don't make me wake up with spiders all over me. It just seems like
spiders.
I'm gonna be upset. And like not a recoverable upset.
Yeah.
No, this was good. I'm done now. Just gonna lay here in bed until I'm old, I guess.
So that's it. Until I'm done. Yeah. So phone it in. Yeah. That's a valid, like it's stupid. It's a stupid fear, but it is so scary.
Yeah.
And like so many of like because Ginju's very like visual and it really triggers my trypophobia. Like the first story was like, what if this man had holes all throughout his body and everyone else can have it too? And I was like, but why are we doing this? Ginji, why are we doing this?
It's a love story for you. And
I was like, I hate you. I hate this. I want to break up. And then the other ones are fine. Like there's like, Tomi with the head that's next to her head and all of that, which is interesting. There was a story about like puppets, like they're people who become puppets. And that was like really cool.
Yeah, I've seen that done in anime before, which is like both very like scary because it's like autonomy gone, but also like pretty cool because some people are dolls somehow, and that's just like interesting. It reminds me of House of Wax, even though that's not what the premise of House of Wax.
There's an episode of Criminal Minds where he makes them dolls, and that's what I think of every time. There's also we covered what was it with Ariel from Amalgam. It was like the Dollhouse.
Yes.
Youth horror show. Which one
We're
was
in the
it?
woods and we say oaths and then throw things in the fire.
Yeah, Midnight Society.
Yes.
What is that show? Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I did
The answer is yes. If anyone wanted to know.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, I will run up the steps.
Yeah. Because, they can grab
internally
you.
panically.
Yeah. After watching this film, Freaky, I also have been reading... I've also been reading Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix and listening to his other book, The Southern Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires or something. It's very long, so I can never remember the title. So I've been like just overwhelmed with like murder and like horror and like stress. So I like immediately had a stress dream where I was like, I'm running now. Like I'm in trouble. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I should take a break and watch some like K-dramas and chill out. Because that's it. Have you been reading or watching anything recently that's spooky? Putting me on the spot.
I mean, I'm going to be very blunt. I love horror. I do. As a social bonding experience. Do I like to do it by myself? No. I'll play video games. That's like the only form of horror that I will digest without like being horrified entirely. Like I played the new Resident Evil game. I did not finish it because that was terrifying. There's also like games that are vaguely horror related. So I've been playing a lot of Graveyard Keeper. And if you don't know what Graveyard Keeper is, it is basically you meet Truck Sama, to my understanding, from the anime realm. You get hit by something and you're no longer alive now, but you are, because you go to this other world where you are now in charge of this graveyard, and there's like a lot of quirky little folks in town and they're all being funny and cool. But it's not at the same time, because like a skull is your best friend. He's just a talking skull. He bounces up and down. And your new job is to be like a mortician, which if you don't like...
I'll just... War Hero says, there's a particular part of RE8, Resident Evil 8, that is creepy as heck.
That is a true
after the house.
There's a lot.
After the house, which was just like, okay, we run away from Big Lady and we murder her children, and that's okay. You leave, and then you're like, oh, this is the horror game. That was just like the intro, and now you're in a horror game. And
what's funny about that is that Ethan is like, I'm going to murder your kids to save my kid, and that's fine. 3 for 1. What? That's not how that equates. But it's fine. It's fine.
It is to them.
After of that game, I had to stop playing because I am horrified of water, and it was just like, giant fish is not my friend. I don't want a friend.
Without saying anything more, it was the baby thing that was War Hero says.
Okay, body horror. That baby was body horror. But I will not spoil Resident Evil because it's still pretty new. But Graveyard Keeper, essentially, you become a mortician if you're not about organs and blood. That's like stressful. But my favorite thing that I did is I started a religion, because that's a component of it. You run a church in addition to dissecting humans, which I don't think is always a thing. But yeah. So my church revolves around cannibalism, essentially eating the rich. I don't know if they're actually rich. They're just bodies that get delivered to my house. But it's definitely like a cannibalism church that I have just decided to rationalize as a political statement.
That's great. What a fun time you're having.
It is, but it's horror, because it's like cannibalism is horror.
The House of Cat.
That's me.
100%. And you stream live on Twitch on Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I need to pick a different time, but that is when we do it currently.
Yeah, if people know better times to watch, do that. But yeah, you can tell us, because Kat does mostly, and occasionally
It does too.
I will do it. And I played Soma, right? That's what
and then Little Nightmares.
So scary. Soma's so scary.
People liked it though.
Yeah, because it's funny to them to make me do it. Because because a horrible noise will happen and I have to walk and explore it and I don't wanna. And then everyone's like, just go inside. And I'm like, I hate this.
It's fine.
I hate this. I hate everything.
Robot is friend. Okay.
It's like, I need the blood. And I was like, no, we don't need blood. It's fine. It's okay.
See, I think it's a nice precursor to what the Tesla robot will be. And
so ridiculous.
We got to all go underwater into a base and then just have robot friends. That's what that said for me, Soma.
Is that what you're going to do, Kat? You're going to go
Absolutely not. I'm just saying that
two of the things you don't like.
For other people. For Gabe specifically, a volunteer.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go in there. That's awful. Yeah, but we occasionally play horror games. I did play Little Nightmares. I played the first one. I have the second one I've been playing, and it's hard. So
you don't gotta be good at it to stream it. People like the struggle.
Yeah, I game. I'm a gamer, but I'm like hella casual and not very good at any games, and I get very frustrated. And so that's so if you wanted to like look at someone do it good, don't watch me. Yeah. But if you want to see someone get really mad and scared out of like everything, then
that is Gabe.
You can watch me. I swear a lot. We're not allowed to swear on our show, but I swear exclusively on Twitch. Yeah. Almost constantly. Whatever it is we're doing. But that's not what we're here to do. We were here to talk about a specific film. I'm trying to get my data here.
Analyzing.
We are talking about Freaky, which is a new horror film from 2020. The time that didn't happen. The year that didn't exist. The year that came and went. I'm still processing, and it's 2021 is already over. According to my brain, the way it works. So let me tell you what Freaky is about so that you can know that.
And maybe watch it. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, no, you should 100% watch it. After swapping bodies with a deranged serial killer, a young girl in high school discovers she has less than 24 hours before the change becomes permanent. And it is starring Vince Vaughn as the killer. And also the teen girl in the killer body.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Some of the best acting I've seen from Vince Vaughn. Gotta say.
Because he wasn't just playing Vince Vaughn. He was playing something, which is nice because he always just plays Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, he's just him.
The opposite of him is Catherine Newton, who I recognize from Detective Pikachu. And also she's in Big Little Lies.
So, got you.
Yeah, but I was like, that's the Pikachu. I was like, that's Pikachu girl. I always like Vince Vaughn very much plays himself, and there's a few times where he does the classic Vince Vaughn thing where he like speaks kind of fast and he's like trying to convince you of something. Like he always does that where he's trying to convince somebody else and he's being like fast talk. If this was Call of Cthulhu, like he'd be using fast talk. And he does that like twice in it. But other than that, he is like playing somebody else. He is playing this young girl, and I thought he did pretty well.
I would agree. He really was. He was being a teenager. Yes. In very Gen Z energy, which was satisfying.
Yeah. So the story is there's this girl. So there's a killer for some reason. He doesn't really have a story or what, or a personality or like anything. And he's just killing kids. And it starts out and it's like pretty cool deaths, like right out the gate. Like he like kills a kid with like he broke a racket in half and just like smashes it into their head.
Which is just arm strength. Damn.
Yeah. Right. He does the cliche, like you get impaled by a thing. That happens a lot. And then there's the first death was the most impactful because it's a wine bottle being shoved down the throat of a little teen. It was awful. It was slow, and then he hit his neck so it would break, and I was like, oh, he's not okay. He's not gonna be good. He killed the girl by smashing her head in a toilet. So it did like.
That's the first 5 minutes though, so it is spoilers. But
it is spoilers, but it is
like right at the beginning.
Definitely watch it. It has really, really creative deaths, at least in the beginning, and then later it's like they're arguably good deaths, right? Because he's a killer, but I don't think it's not intentional by any means that he's killing these awful people. He just so happens to like be doing that. But he, after that, like those sets of murders, when the body switch happens, he's like almost exclusively killing people that are terrible to the main character or just terrible humans. Which is like, it's like you can't even really be that mad. But so he attempts to murder our protagonist from Detective Pikachu, and he stabs her, but it's like it's Friday the 13th, and there's a special dagger, and the moon is full the whole time, and they end up switching Freaky Friday style. And it's great because like this one does really, there's like a scene where he's like in the back of a car and he's like just kind of like fidgeting kind of and like doing this little like like movement that's like kind of, it's like cute and it's feminine, but he's just like back there and it's just like big Vince Vaughn. His run was the best in the whole thing. He was just always like why can't she run? I just love that.
They do set up the run at the beginning, which I thought was really, like, it was satisfying. Like, at first I thought it was just because she was like, okay, so she's a mascot for context. She wears a beaver costume as a mascot for context. And she ran like that, but I was like, can she not run because she's in a costume? Like, the beaver legs are big, so, like, that makes sense. Yeah. But then he really just, like, honed in on that. And, yeah, it was very funny. He was great.
Yeah.
I've never seen Vince Vaughn just be so fun. And because he's usually like borderline, you're not rooting for him.
Yeah. He's always
kind of sucks.
He's always kind of rude. Like he's just this like smug dude, like always. Like, and it's fine. Like
it's fun.
Fine, but he's like, I mean, like what is it? Wedding Crashers he's in is like the same as like when he plays like Santa's brother and who he is in the breakup and who like he just was always that, you know.
I'm not gonna want to wash dishes. Like what?
Oh yeah, nobody wants to wash it. Like no one wants to wash. It's not about washing dishes.
I want you to want to do nice things for me.
I want part you of this to take family. Care of this house that we both live in. Yeah. What a great film. It's a great film. I watched that recently too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a fun one too.
Yeah, that one and like Sweet Home Alabama. Like I watched.
You were training for Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. No, it was like a while ago, but in recent times, you know.
Yeah.
As far as films go.
The filmography.
But he does a really good job, and it's also like this whole conversation of like, because she is like bullied and she's belittled and she's also dealing with like the death of her father and like her mom is drinking away her pain and her sister doesn't understand what everyone's going through and why they're not just over it. And so there's like a lot of like emotions that she's going through and that she has to like kind of put away, and she feels really small and weak and insignificant. And through this experience of being in this like Vince Vaughn body, like, you know, one comes to terms with the reality that she had felt that small because she never really thought about it. And so that I thought was really beautiful. And even like as sappy as it was at the end of like her being like, power is on the inside or whatever. I mean, it's true and that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's fun.
I appreciated the family dynamic from the movie because I don't know, I always like very much enjoy the representation of how different people process trauma. So like I thought that was like really well done in that like each person is kind of processing and directing their personality around this trauma. So like as you said, like the sister is kind of like, we just gotta keep life now. We just gotta keep going. Like this ain't, why just sit in it? Like it's not gonna fix, like no one brings them back. Like we need to just do. And then the mom's like trying to still be like mom while also just like processing the loss of someone she loved. And like you kind of see like the very beautiful way that like, and the hard way that like she's processing that, but like the sweet moments that they have when she's in Vince Vaughn's body, and like the like little opening up and like communicating that they didn't get when they were in their regular bodies. And And then you see her and she's just trying to like not cause problems, the main character. Like she's trying to exist as smallly as possible, which I think that, yeah, it just kind of shows like the very unique and different ways that people cope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she was gonna skip out on Homecoming to like go watch this really awful Wicked adaptation, like in the town with her mom because she wanted like she knew that's what it was. And there was that question of like, don't live for her, like you gotta live for yourself, kind of thing. She has her two best friends, which like part of me was like, I was like upset that they're the two best friends because like why can't they be the protagonists? But then I was like the fact that it is a Switch movie and that it is primarily Vince Vaughn that's doing it. Like if it were like if the protagonist were the best friend who's a black girl, like then it's that same situation where you're spending the whole movie not in your own body. And someone else is in your body, which like that's a trope that happens. So I was like, never mind. I'm fine with the fact that they were friends actually, because they got to be themselves and they got to be like cool on their own. Because she has her black girl best friend, which is like a cliche of horror, but again, that's why I thought it was okay. And then she has her gay guy best friend as well, and they have like a line. They're like running from Vince Vaughn because they think he's the killer. And he's just like, you're black, I'm gay, we're not surviving this. And I was like, yes, just calling it out like horror movies do you. Because horror movies can often be unkind to people of color and queer.
Yeah, I immediately got very nervous at the beginning because I was like, not that I don't know if Vince Vaughn produced this as well, but I was just like, please do not lean into I was like, if these best friends die, I'm turning off the movie and we hate it now. And I don't want to hate it. I really hope I don't have to hate it. I would have liked if they like gave the friends like a little more backstory, but like I get you only got like an hour and a half. If it was a show, maybe.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be funny.
Yeah,
you know, it's supposed to be
it was a fun time.
Yeah,
not hell invested in everybody.
But I think it was like really good fun. I did love the reverse coming out where he's like, Mom, I've been waiting to tell you I'm straight. And she's like, you're many things. Straight is not one of them. Like I just love the mom's like, no. And I love that there's that picture of them, like the mom and him, and they're just like super cute and like cheesy. And I was like, that's so great. I love them. So it's like, yeah, it's super good. It would have been nice to see the friends like do anything though. She didn't really get anything. She did the acting, which was nice. Nyla like when she came in and was like, oh god. There's
like he's chasing me.
Yeah, to the sister. I thought it was weird that they went into a department store and they got him a mask, but they didn't get him like a shirt. So they get him and he smells like hot dog water. Like, why didn't you do that? like you're right, it's right there. And they're like, this is all we could get. It's like you can literally grab anything off of a hanger.
Yeah.
He's in a change room.
Yeah.
They had to do him. Like, why what were you out there to do if not get clothes for smelly man?
Also, like, how know which room he's like? How know which changing room is no one else in these changing rooms? Is he the only one? Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't remember that part. I was just like, you just knew?
No.
Does he have like a little beacon?
They said don't leave.
Gotcha. You're right.
Yeah. There's like it was like uncomfortable, but it was like kind of cute too and very funny where so she has like this crush on this boy who's like sports boy. Like he apparently liked her too, and he did. Like he was nice to her from the beginning, and almost gets murdered, which was so nice he didn't. But there's like a moment where he's like talking to Vince Vaughn, but it's her, and they're having this like heart to heart, and they get really emotional, and he's just like, "Is it weird that I want to kiss you?" And it's like, "Oh God,
like, do not kiss this grown man."
You're so a grown person. And he's like, what are you doing? And then I just love the little like, you're still Millie to me. And he like boops his nose. Get out of town.
The acting was great there. That whole car scene was just fantastic. Like that boy needs awards.
Yeah.
He did a really good job acting, like throughout the entire thing. Although I thought it was really interesting because weren't the mean football guys his friends?
I guess like by association, but I don't think he
Got
was like,
you.
I think it's like to assume that he just kind of is friends with them because they're there, but
Mm.
I don't think he really like he never said anything though either. Like
Yeah.
he also wasn't upset that like his friends are being murdered.
I think
Like
it was okay.
sadly, yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, I got other priorities. I do love that like when they're explaining to the boy that the body switch happens, and he's like referring to Millie. And they're like pronouns. You gotta use the right pronouns for who is who because they're in the
Yeah.
wrong bodies. Like he is in Millie's body, so now we refer to Millie as he.
Yeah.
There. And I was like, that's nice. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it's pretty good.
Yeah, very Gen Z energy,
Yeah.
which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not Gen Z, I'm a millennial, unfortunately. And I think it's fortunately, it's good. I just feel like Gen Z is like really ready to just burn everything down, and I just appreciate that about them.
Yeah. Well, we paved the way a little bit.
Yeah, we did the thing.
We made safe spaces so we could do it. Yes.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah. It's been a long 2 months. I realized when we started our Good Ghouls Gone Bad, which I guess this counts as because she's a girl, like I was met. We started with like Tag, and I was like, that was like so long ago, and we're just wrapping up like in a few weeks, like it'll be over for the Good Ghouls Gone Bad series, and then we're gonna start a new series of horror musicals, horror movie musicals, and that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah,
I can't wait to just listen to people sing.
Yeah, this is like a nice little segue into just very fun sing time. Except also like musicals generally are sad, but I'm sure they'll still be fun because music helps you process stress.
Yes,
that's my theory.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? This year? No, you're good. I missed it in my own brain. It had nothing to do. This year has been really good for horror, like, but also like really stressful as like a horror creator, like and commenter to like not be able to watch every movie that comes out.
That's true.
Like Freaky has been on my list since it like first saw the trailer whenever ago, and I was just like, I'm never gonna. So I was like, let's use this as an opportunity to do that, because it's just like we watch stuff all the time, but a lot of the time it's like for specific purposes, so we miss out if we don't write in a specific purpose for watching a new film. I'm very excited for Candyman.
And so soon. I mean, at the rate that this year has been going, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Practically like a week, pretty much, right? Next week, I think.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to come out last year. Last year we got Host, which was great for horror movies made during the pandemic. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was very creative in like its implementation and just really making your fears of meetings feel more real.
It's one of those. Could have been an email.
Yeah.
Instead of getting murdered.
Email seance.
Well, it's also like that, like, you know, using found footage, which is like the tool is like to make you afraid of technology that we rely on or that is new and emerging. And it did that. It's like, you know, you spend all your time online and on Zoom. Imagine if it was murdering you. Yeah. And it was like, oh no, I have to go do like a work meeting tomorrow after watching this.
Yeah, and there's also something so like big and powerful about the internet that like imagine if ghosts or demons got in there. It accesses everybody.
Like Pulse. It was in the internet.
Yeah, and now everyone's just in risk. Now it's just forever.
Because we did that whole episode about the internet. I saw that The Net is now available on like Netflix, and I was like, everyone should watch that and then listen to our episode about it.
I like that it's on Netflix, but I'm always like minorly like I had to pay for it. But it's good that other people don't gotta pay for. Well, like you gotta pay for Netflix, I guess, but
Well, it's like, didn't we pay for Deep Blue Sea and then it immediately came out on Netflix the next day?
It did. And I was like, all right, I'm happy I gave money to this film because it's very fun.
Yeah.
But also rude.
Yeah. Because this week we're talking about Deep Blue Sea, which will be really fun. But I remember, you watched it without me, and then I was like, it's on Netflix. And you're like, no, it's not. I have to pay for it.
I looked and it wasn't. It cost money. This is my face about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I switched bodies with Vince Vaughn. Like, I don't know.
With Vince Vaughn as the killer or just Vince Vaughn the dude?
Specifically Vince Vaughn the killer. Just because I'm not in high school anymore and like I don't interact with a lot of people. So it'd be like I feel like he'd have a hard time finding murder people, you know?
Yeah.
Also, like everyone who lives here is also big. So like I feel like they could take Vince Vaughn on, you know? Or me at least.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn in you.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Would they trust you as Vince Vaughn? Like,
yeah, I could get Isaiah.
Say to them.
Well, I can't say it on the internet because then anybody
use it.
Could be me.
That's true. They have to have that secret. That's like I have those secrets where it's like, I know you're an alien or an imposter if you don't do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 That's mine's going down the steps, one leg at a time.
Yeah. If you can do it fast and efficient and not, then I'm like, who's this? Who would that be? Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest problem with isekai. So for people who don't know that, it's like when you're put into another world from probably the modern world, and you have a cat called Truck-sama, which is essentially in anime the vehicle in which you are put into the isekai, like into this other world, is that you have to die in this one or be put into a coma or something, and usually that is by way of truck hitting you because you cross the street. So Truck-sama gets you, and then you end up in the isekai. And the biggest problem I have with those, and like similar to this Freaky Friday, is like you don't like you're put into this person. Like sometimes you're put in as a person who already exists in that world, and it's like, but you don't know them. Like how I was like, there's no way I could pretend to be a person. I don't know what they're like. I've never interacted with them. Like how like people would know something is up immediately. I wouldn't know. And especially if you're in a whole different world, like you don't know the politics. You don't know what like society is like. What if there's like a caste system and you shouldn't be talking to people that you're talking to? Like there's so many elements to it. And it's like, how am I supposed to know? Like, how am I overtly learn the history of this world and this character without people being suspicious of me? Like, I can't. And like with Vince Vaughn in Millie was, because I don't even think he gets a name. He's just a killer. He is weird, but people are like, oh, she put on lipstick and she's wearing pants today, so she's confident. She's cool now.
No sweaters, leather jacket.
Yeah. She's like, and she was like you said when you were watching Cat, you're like, she's pretty cute for like I don't understand why they're bullying her. She's like,
yeah, like in any other film, she would be the villain. But then I guess like she did get to be the villain for part of it, even though it wasn't like it was her like acting, but like like it's supposed to be Vince Vaughn's character in there.
Yeah, I enjoyed the parts where she was like she like was playing up being a teen girl. Like she like screamed, she's like, the killer's here or whatever. Yeah. But I do feel like one of the best parts about Freaky Friday was how well like Jamie Lee Curtis played teenage girl. And how like and then like the opposite of just like how well you play as like your mom inside of you, like Lindsay Lohan. So it's like, I just remember like Jamie Lee Curtis when like the boyfriend like tries to kiss her, like the Jamie Lee Curtis's boyfriend, and she's like, ew, no. He's like, is something wrong with my breath? It's like, gross. It's just like totally no. I love it so much. But one positive for this film that it has over Freaky Friday is that they didn't use a fortune cookie to change you. They didn't use some weird, they were using Aztec unspecified thing, and they talked to the, your Spanish teacher. It's like, I know about Mexican lore. Like she could have been Venezuelan,
Yeah,
but she was just reading it.
Yeah. She knew how to say the words.
Yeah.
That were on the thing.
I think it's funny. Yeah. Oh, hi Charlie. Okay, Kat, what do you got? We're not used to doing this.
What?
It's early. We're not used to like.
Oh yeah, it's like morning. It's like morning, and that's like, I feel like it was really interesting to me, just on the topic of mornings. Just like I related so heavy to it. She woke up, but she was the butcher, which was the serial killer, and she just doesn't know how to process everybody interacting. Because that mom entered that room like my mom enters used to enter my room. Hello, good morning, and it's like, oh my god. We do not. I have just woken. You're saying words. I don't know what those are. I am in space. But I just thought that's really funny. I remember we were watching. You were like talking about like how basically like she just didn't respond to anything. It was really weird. I also really enjoyed the scene where she was gonna stab the sister.
Yeah, and then the mom just takes the knife, and it was just like, oh my god, honey. Yeah,
where it's like, okay,
and then why does he eat like that? Like that doesn't make, none of that made sense. He was just super weird. And why did he live? Why was his house like that? Or not house, but the place that he stayed. Like, why is it like, it was the most, like, I think that was a part of the funny, but I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, like not every serial killer just has all their stuff out.
Yeah.
On display.
And did he know that the dagger did that? Because he purposely was looking for that dagger, but then he like didn't really want to be in her body either because she was like weak. So it's just like, what is there isn't really a story. It's just like, what if this funny thing happened?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like the plot was the story, less than let's process why this large man, serial killer time, is doing this.
Yeah, because there was the lore of the serial killer before, but there's never, but like he just showed up now. Like who was the one before him, it's just like the dagger, and like that was just a MacGuffin to get us to this part, which is fun. I like when there's like a silly, stupid premise.
Yeah, this film took like a lot of tropes that I think have been used before, but used them well in like ways that were like genuinely funny. And it definitely, like, the gore was present, but I don't think it was too much. Like, I didn't think I had to like look away at any point, which was nice, because I feel like generally I do. That one was messed up. Like, I agree with you, but I also was like, it was the second they showed it was gone, and I was like, okay, I can deal with that.
And the other ones like kind of felt justified, so you were like not as upset. Like when they have that one dude who like, is being mean to the gay best friend because he like wants to hook up with him, and then when he's denied, he does that thing where like, well, you're ugly anyway, kind of thing, which is just awful. And so I was really happy that they didn't play into that, because so often it's like, it's just that he's gay and that's why he's mean. It's because he can't accept who he is. It's like, no, he's just trash.
Yeah, it's like you can be two things.
Yeah, it can be a lot of things.
As they say, it is not your fault that trauma happened to you, but it is your responsibility to grow from it. Or like, because like if his trauma is he has to feel repressed in this situation, it's his responsibility to heal
and not
from that, and not like take it out on this other kid that like owes him nothing.
Yeah, which is like my biggest gripe with what's the one on Netflix where it's like British and it's like the kids.
I know what you're talking about. Sex Education.
Yes, like that's one of my
biggest. Look at my memory.
You do. Is like the one like is the best friend who's gay and black. And him having that whole relationship with like a jerk guy who bullied him until they're in a relationship, and it's like, that's toxic. Yeah. Let's toxic. When he gets opportunity to be with someone who's open and accepting. It's like, oh, but what if toxic boy? And I'm like, no. Teenagers are hard. It's hard to be teenager.
Yeah, it reminds me of that TikTok where it's like, you gay or straight, gay or straight. And it's like, I mean, why does it matter? I'm not going to hook up with you. You're too sticky.
Yeah. Like, why does it matter to you? I'm not hooking up with you.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Just because I'm queer doesn't mean I want to make out with every single human that exists.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a fun moment. I'm happy that they made the murders, like, I agree that, like, I'm happy that you didn't really like the people that they murdered. Because I feel like it wouldn't have been funny at that point. I feel like they were intentional about who they chose. Mm-hmm. Not that, like, we should be arguing that some people deserve to die. But I understand, like, if you're going to have a serial killer in this scenario, for it to maintain the comedy value, you can't be killing people who people are rooting for.
Care.
Yeah. Because otherwise, then it's like problematic and sad, and then you're just like,
Well, because I mean, in Scream, there are like you're killing off people that we care about, but there is some comedy elements to it.
That's true.
The fact that like, what's his name is like, don't leave. Like, you're not supposed to leave and say, "I'll be right back." Like, listening all the rules, and then the people do it, and you're like, "No, don't do the thing." Yeah.
No, that's very true. I guess it's like, if we were in this scenario, would we survive? These are the questions that I have. I feel like, yeah. Like, if we were friends with the chick that was dealing with this.
Oh. We're our only friends.
Yeah.
It's just us two. So one of us would be switched.
Yeah.
Could we track down in time? Because, like, they were in a small town. Where's she gonna go?
Yeah.
It would be really hard to find Killer Me just in Philadelphia somewhere.
Yeah, Philly is big. There are a lot of people here.
I don't have found my iPhone or whatever. Like, how are we gonna find her? And I guess they found her because she was on like someone's like Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Insta Live. Whatever.
It's also a big thing within Gen Z to share your location with your friends. I remember I watched Grownish, and that was like a thing that they did. So like you could always tell where your friends were, for safety, but also I think like just like so that they know you're okay. So it's very possible they had that like phone tracker thing where it's not even Find My iPhone, but it is a thing within iPhones where you can like share your location with somebody.
Yeah.
So that like whenever you look it up, you can like see them.
Yeah, but I do think in the film it was just that the boys posted that they were with her in the
so they were able to figure it out that way.
So they were like, "Oh, we got to go there because that's where she
Everyone
is."
Be on the internet. That's
real.
Real.
So it's like, would serial killer Me go with people? And like, who am I with? Who am I trying to kill? Like, what would they do? Like, serial killer Me, what are they doing? Yeah,
you got to know their motivation. Like, this guy specifically seemed to enjoy murdering teenagers, which is a problem in and of itself. But I feel like, I don't know, it really depends on who it is, because then Philly has a wide variety of human beings. Is it like anybody, or is it like they got specific?
And she got so lucky that no one saw her murder, and that there was a killer out there, because then it's not put onto her. Because
like anyone attempted like had to die, because otherwise
they could rat it out that it was her. Yeah. The question is, would my partner believe that it wasn't really me trying to murder them, but someone else? Or would he be like, Gabe snapped and now she wants to murder me, I have to put her down? Or will he be like, this doesn't make any sense, I bet she's in the killer's body somewhere?
Yeah.
Would he come to that conclusion?
I think it really depends on what people are willing to rationalize for love in that scenario. Because then, like, I feel like part of him would always feel like, was that actually real? Or did she just team up with somebody and make up this really elaborate scenario to convince me?
Much time on my hands.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just thinking, like, I wake up, right? But it's not me. Killer Me wakes up and immediately just wants to kill Mike. What is he doing? Does he think I just want to kill him now? Or does he think something's wrong? Does he incapacitate me, or does he murder me back?
I don't know what Mike would do.
you know?
I do know what Isaiah would do, and he would just restrain the situation, and I would just be like tied to a chair like Millie was for like a minute until whatever we figured it out.
Version you shows up at
Yeah.
the door like, did you take care of her? An idiot.
Yeah. I also think he would immediately think I was possessed.
Yeah.
He'd be like, this is for all the times they made that joke about Cthulhu. I knew this was coming.
He finally got to them. He finally did it. I'll have to ask Mike. This would be one of the artists. Glue now. I'll have to ask him what he would do. You gotta think, everyone should know there should be code words that you have with the people you care about that are secretive. So in the event that somebody else is in their body or it's an imitation.
Body switching is like a pretty common thing within the horror realm that like maybe it's real. Who knows?
Yeah. There's like what was it? The Faculty.
Parasites, aliens, whatever have you. Parasite, the manga / anime. That also does it. There's one more thing about the movie that I do want to call it that was good in terms of like mental health, because there was like the scene where the best friends were like kind of reacting to the fact that like she had been attacked, like she had been attempted murdered upon, and like was reasonably going through some stuff. And the one friend was like kind of like concerned. She's like, they were acting so weird. Like, I don't understand what's happening. And then the other friend was like, I mean, like she was attacked. Like she can be weird for a day. Like let her be weird. You know, like she's going through a lot. So just let them process that, and we'll like talk about it later. Like obviously, but they're clearly
let them be.
Yeah, like they're our best friend. We're gonna let them be weird for a day. They told us to F off, but like I'm sure we can rationalize that and talk about it later. And I thought that was nice that they cared enough about them to like be like, all right, that was rude, but for like a minute, as long as it's not every day, like they did go through something traumatic and personality changes for a period of time can be expected. Yeah, so I thought that was nice.
Be on standby, you know, we're just like hanging out to just like when you're ready.
Yeah,
you can do that, right?
So I appreciated that. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Other horror things that I've done since we're just chatting is I played Call of Cthulhu with strangers and my partner. We went to like a local game shop, and they had a keeper who's great, just phenomenal. And the people that we were playing, it's always like, it's really stressful, especially for something like Call of Cthulhu, what like you don't know what kind of person you're gonna get to play with with strangers, because you can get some pretty toxic people in just like role-playing worlds. But I think the venue, because the venue specifically is so progressive and like awesome, like you know, being, you know, all the, you know, employees have like their pronouns on their name tags, so everyone referred to properly. And just the space is just super welcoming. So like that was like the biggest draw for us. We were like, if this was like, if this other game shop that we've been to, if they were holding a Call of Cthulhu, I'd probably be less inclined to go, because I've interacted with them and I've seen the people who interact there. I don't think I would like them. So and so this place was like really great, and so we went, and it was super fun. It was something I was looking forward to like every week, like with these like new friends. And it was wild, just like wild things are happening, and you're just the person. That's what I really love Call of Cthulhu, is like you're just someone
regular
else. Yeah. And you're like, okay, what now? And then the recent episode of it, or campaign part, I don't know, we just finished out the first round, I guess. And my character has the face of an ant, like the insect is her face now. And that's where we left off, is everyone screaming.
Because you have an ant face?
Yeah. Everyone else got cool mutations, and I'm an ant. And I'm like, that's not cool.
Yeah,
Why
it's
do you
rude.
do that to me? Yeah. But I found it really interesting. And I was, for anyone who like Gent Ghostface, who was watching yesterday when I was hanging out with Black Women Are Scary, Wiimoto, and Hineris, we were briefly talking about Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is a TTRPG where you play as cool ladies or just lesbians who fight and they're cool. But what I really valued and loved about it is that the whole beginning is about like setting guidelines and safe spaces for your TTRPG. You like have areas and issues that you're not going to touch on, or just make sure that people feel comfortable and safe. And that's super important because I've been in campaigns where I don't feel comfortable or safe, and you're just like, okay, like this isn't playing anymore. I'm just like upset. And this is supposed to be like an escape, and instead I'm like awful. But there was a whole, at the beginning of it, there's like a link to like a whole resource thing that you could do for any TTRPG. It's not specifically Thirsty Sword Lesbians. So it's like whenever you're doing, it's super helpful to have like palettes and then to have like the X card. So it's like if someone's like, whoa, no, we're not doing this. And to be able to have that power and be able to talk about it, like purposely making that a space is super beneficial to the playing experience for people to feel nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, because you're building that world together, and you want to feel like you have some say and that you're going to feel comfortable in that space.
No, for sure. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I definitely want to play that. Yeah, we have some fun things that are coming up for our horror movie musical. We're going to be making a new intro song that is a musical. So look forward to that. We have in the works for forever now a music video of a horror song that we wrote. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
One day we can do that. We also have a short horror comedy film that we're going to be working on soon, getting some props in, location scouting, and hopefully we can do it.
Yeah. So we've been doing some stuff. Stay tuned.
Yeah, so make sure that you're following us. One on Twitch so you can watch Kat do spooky things. Then we put our other stuff.
Most of the time spooky. Sometimes we play Overcooked.
Yeah. And you can hear us the whole time say, that's the real horror story.
Yep. It's irrational, isn't it?
theGhoulsNextDoor.com to check out all the things that we could do. And on YouTube, Ghouls Next Door. We're everywhere you find podcasts. And on YouTube, we have our audio only is also there, but our short comedies are there. They're all like under 2 minutes, or like at least under
really
3
easily
minutes.
digestible.
Yeah, so if you just want to like a little treat, a little horror for treat, you could do that for sure. Yeah, we're closing in on it. I do want to say, because this is the awareness-a-thon, just put our bot out here, that if you or anyone you know struggles with depression or suicide, please get help. And the suicide lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. And the text line is 741-741. Again, that's 741-741, because it's super important to know. And that's like one of the things we really appreciate about Victims and Villains. And, we've collaborated with them a few times. You can check out our episode with Josh and Celeste on Hereditary. And then we've also guested on their show. And we always appreciate that, like, at the end of the day, the core is like, we want to make sure that you know that you're heard and there's safe spaces for you, and to seek help and that you are valued. And that's like a thesis we really feel strongly about and appreciate that it's out there. So I hope you really enjoyed the awareness-a-thon and all the great creators who worked so hard and got this together and came together to talk about their stuff and support one another, because that's awesome. I love that. We did it once before, we would do it again and again and again. And yeah, we just want to thank Josh and everyone else who helped make this possible and for including us.
Yeah.
Because it means a lot that this, like a platform like this exists, and that others are creating content that matters.
whispering sweet, sweet content into your ears, but also mental health resources.
Yes. Yeah. So we are closing out, so there's no one after us, but I hope you enjoyed all of what happened here for Awareness-a-thon, and that you are subscribed to Victims and Villains so you can hear and see what they have coming up next. Make sure that you also subscribe to us wherever we are if you're interested. If you want to learn some things, edutain yourself,
Yes.
You can do that. And with that being said,
don't get married.
delete your kids. People are